Hey, I'm Bubba.
And I'm John.
We use our questionable and sometimes traumatic childhood experiences to hopefully become better parents.
We might not succeed,
but listen,
they're fine. Brandon.
John.
You're back from New York.
The Big Apple.
When did you get back?
Sunday night.
Okay. So just like a day or two ago.
A couple days ago.
Yeah.
Jacob's one of my closest friends, Jacob Sanders, who you know because he did the artwork for our former investigative crime series, Telephone Stories that you scored. Telephone Stories, The Trials of Michael Jackson, available on all platforms. In the running for a Pulitzer Prize in audio and a Peabody reporting. Not a dick and fart show like this about parenting. But Jacob got married, and he's quite a bit younger than me, and I never went to college, so it's funny. Yeah, if you got married, or I think when you did, I was like, oh, my best friend's getting married. Mm-hmm. I really only have kind of like two close friends that I'd say probably you and Jacob, but I felt so infantile when people were like, why are you going to New York? I'm like, it's my best friend's wedding. You know
what's funny is like, I feel like Catherine and I were talking about this a couple weeks ago, where I'm like, I feel like we've kind of aged out of the wedding racket. Right?
We're in the divorce racket / second marriage.
Yeah,
which you and I both are in real life, but I feel like a lot of it's like, oh, my friend's getting divorced, you know. But Jacob's younger, and he didn't. They didn't do a traditional thing. They just did the courthouse, and we didn't go to that. We just kind of went to like drinks afterwards, a speakeasy before kind of thing. It was very tasteful, but when I saw him at this really lovely speakeasy on the Lower East Side, it was kind of a Great Gatsby sort of thing. I was like, hey, how was the ceremony this morning? And they said there are cameras everywhere, paparazzi everywhere, people with signs. The sentencing of Sean P. Diddy Combs was going down.
Well, you're really dating us now. When we release this, people are going to know right when it is.
Well, we don't want to alienate half the audience who believe he was innocent.
Sure.
You know, but he's getting 4 years.
Maybe this is an appeal or something that you're talking about. That's in the future.
Yeah, this is a Free Diddy podcast. What I was going to tell you that was funny, we had no kids.
You did not bring the kids with you.
Did not bring the kids to New York. Left them with my wonderful mother-in-law who did such a great job with them. But I was kind of having baby fever because a friend brought a baby to the wedding.
What?
Dude.
You never have baby fever.
I don't. And I also don't even like the dog we got after my dog died. I mean, I hope I do eventually. But I saw a Pomeranian and I started getting all misty-eyed about my old dog, Mila, who was a Peekapom.
Yeah.
And then Jenna rolled over in bed at the little hotel we were at. And you would have thought she caught me looking at pornography. I was looking at SoCal adopting Peekapoms.
Oh, I'm glad you said Peekapoms and not babies.
And I was also like, what if we reverse my vasectomy?
Oh,
dude,
okay.
I don't know what was going on. It was biological. I was just like, what if we have another one?
You are never like this.
I hate these kids. And I hate this dog.
I mean, you hate kids so much, you got surgery to make sure you'll never have kids again.
Take it all. Take everything. I'm never going to use it again. And for
make
some
sure
reason,
it can't even be reversed.
There was some romance on this trip where I was like, I don't even know what. And
you got away from those kids for like 2 days and you just forgot.
2 days. I'm looking at pictures of those kids. I'm like, they're not that little anymore. Henry's in TK. I was like crying. I was crying about everything.
What the fuck?
Crying. Hugging Jacob, telling him I love him, crying, hugging his brother, hugging his dad, holding some rando's baby, crying about the baby, petting this dog, crying on the corner about my dog. John, what's going on?
Are you going through menopause?
I really feel like it's perimenopausal. And this was the kicker. As you know, I work at a restaurant and I started bartending during the day because both kids are now in public school. Mm-hmm. So I don't need to be stay-at-home dad. And Jenna says, and I think she was right, she goes, because I don't really like working during the day. It's messing up my writing schedule. But for 30 years of my life, 40 years of my life, I've worked in the evening or was homeschooled and,
Sure.
slept in. So converting from being a night owl to waking up and going to bartend in the morning, bring the kids to school.
You've joined like
I've
the
joined the regular world,
working.
and I hate it.
Yeah.
I'm so tired. I hate it. I don't get to do anything I want to do. I don't get to take a nap when I want. I can't work in my little Instagram stories.
No midday naps.
No, nothing. No fun. Can't go to the Y when I want to have a schwitz. And so Jenna goes, I love you. I know you think you have baby fever. I think that you just want to have another baby so that you can go back to being a stay-at-home dad and not have to work during the day. And I think she's right.
Brandon.
I think I abhor it so much I'd bring another low-class kid into the world, probably way less quality than the two we have. I mean, we're going to be advanced maternal age at this point. The quality's going down on them. That I truly would do this just so I could be a stay-at-home dad again.
Listen, there are worse reasons for having a kid. It's not the worst reason I've ever heard. I think Jenna's 100% right. You definitely want to do this so you can stay at home.
Crying like just a liar, just an actor faking it.
I think you're reminiscing. I mean, the fact that you are also bringing your old dog into the mix too just makes me think you're probably just very nostalgic for a different time, because there was a time when your kids were very young, they were babies, and you had this dog. It's probably a very special time in your life compared to where you are now,
which is not special.
You've joined the daytime working the working week, right? You're just a drone now, man.
Yep.
And so you're thinking back fondly. You're like, man, back when I had that Pika Palm and those babies.
I went to Trader Joe's when it wasn't busy.
That was the
in
life.
the middle of the afternoon.
Oh, Trader Joe's at like 1 p.m. It's
nobody's there.
Yeah,
there's no lines anywhere. There's no traffic.
So,
what a loser!
I don't know where we go from here. I mean, I will say there are other options. I work from home, so I am able to, periodically go do the Trader Joe's run midday.
Well, I can't bartend from home. That's called being an alcoholic.
Yeah, that's true. You're going to need to find a different career path. Yeah, I'm just trying to think if there's a way to split the difference here so you can get your midday nap and Trader Joe's run, but I don't think there is.
There's nothing. It's over for me.
Grandkids, one day.
I mean, Maggie's only 7. I'm at least 5 years away.
We really need this podcast to take off so then you can quit the bartending gig.
That's true.
We can do this at night. You can have your days free to go do a schwitz over at the Y.
I really just am in it for the schwitz, really. I'd get an hour and a half of childcare, or an hour of childcare. Now it's an hour and a half at the Y. It was the only thing that got me through.
That is a great thing about the Y. I never joined, but I remember looking into it, and it's pretty cool when you go to have a Y membership. They have like free childcare there. Yeah. So you can go work out and get free childcare.
Or when I was a stay-at-home dad for both kids, I would just go take them to the childcare, and then I'd go in the sauna and cry. I'm not joking.
Any particular reason?
Because it's so hard.
Just life with children?
The kids, when they were little, and it was just me.
See,
all day long.
Grass is always greener. You didn't know. That was the time of your life right there.
Maybe now's the time of my life, even though I hate it.
We don't go out on the weekend nights because you know how it is. You have to get a babysitter. It's expensive as shit. It's like a whole thing. We went out 2 nights in a row this weekend.
How?
We had free babysitting one of the night, which never happens, but we were super stoked.
What is this, Mom Dommy's New York?
No, this is not government-funded daycare. This was our... how do I phrase this? It's like Catherine's ex-sister-in-law.
Oh, this sounds like somebody's got a drug problem.
So, no, Catherine's ex-sister-in-law, who we're actually very good friends with still, she does a Halloween party for like all her like nieces and nephews every year as like a fun thing. And she's like, drop the kids off. We'll have a little party for them for like 3 hours. They don't have kids. And so they're just like excited to have kids for a few hours and do like all these fun Halloween activities and whatnot. So they did that on Friday, and Catherine and I went out on Friday night. Super fun. went to dinner, went to the bar, went downtown, or not downtown, but kind of I mean, this is going to be lost on anybody who doesn't live in the Long Beach area. No, went to the Bixby Knolls area.
Okay.
Yeah, it was great.
Where'd you go to dinner?
Where did we go to dinner?
Can you say?
Sure, if I can remember. I'm like an old man. It's hard to remember. We went to Wood and Salt.
Oh, yeah. I've been there.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah. Wood and Salt's a good place.
Yeah, and we also went to Wilmore Wine Bar.
I don't know that place.
Oh, it's a good little spot. So yeah, we did that on Friday, and then Saturday Catherine had a friend that is moving to the UK. And so she is it's one of her work colleagues. And so she's leaving here. She moved to UK, and she did kind of like a farewell party.
And you just dropped your kids off there?
Yeah, no. We actually had to pay for a babysitter that night.
We can't come, but we're going to drop our kids off.
Yeah. There was it was no kids allowed. So we actually had to pay for a babysitter that night, which is
Do you get mad when people do that? No kids allowed.
Yes, I do.
But was it like a late adult party though?
Yeah.
Would you have brought your kids if it was like 8 o'clock at night?
No. We wouldn't have brought the kids.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm joking. We don't actually get mad. It's nice to go out periodically without the kids. It's hard, and sometimes you just need a reason. It's always a big lift, but it's worth it. You know, you get the babysitter, you do the thing, you go out. It makes you feel like...
But it's double the cost.
Yeah.
Like anything you do, it's like, well, it's $100 for the babysitter.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So the cost is significant, but when you go to like a party, you're not really spending any money. So it's just the babysitter cost.
Yeah. Well, and when I go to a party and I steal all the prescription drugs in the cabinet too, and I sell those.
Well, then that works out.
It's deuces, you know?
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that was the weekend.
Wow. Why is your wife's friend moving to England?
She,
I'm just curious if it's like my sister moving to Portugal to avoid the collapse of Western civilization.
I think it's a little bit of that. Okay. Yeah. I don't think it's necessarily one thing.
England's a dead state.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I think she's just kind of sick of it here and she wants to start fresh there. I don't want to speak for her, but I mean, talking to her for a little bit, she's very excited. I don't think she feels like she's maybe progressing here as much as she'd like to. She's an attorney as well. And so she's going to have to actually do, because it's a totally different legal system there. She's going to have to do
the wigs.
I don't know if they do the wigs still. Like barristers.
No, I think they do.
Maybe
I saw
do.
a video.
Yeah.
She could make a killing over there as a judge because they're putting everybody in jail for hate speech.
Well, there you go.
You say anything and they go, 14 years for complaining about migrants.
Yeah.
Your hateful speech.
Sure. I mean, it's a real windfall.
I'm compelled to give you the harshest penalty for saying that those migrants should have died in the boat so they didn't take the jobs of the Englanders.
You kind of sound like Christopher Guest in Princess Bride.
Oh, yeah. What part did he play?
Remember, he's like, I just took 1 year off your life.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man, what a good movie.
Yeah, he's like the torturer, right?
Oh, yeah.
That movie's so good.
It's so good. I don't want the kids to get any older because I'm so misty about it. But I can't wait till they get old enough that I can show them The Princess Bride.
Yeah. It's a fun
so
one.
Good.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
I'm going to be like, don't you know this is Peter Falk? It's a story within a story. William Goldman wrote it. It was a fairy tale for his daughters.
Yeah, it's such a good movie. I think the kids will love it when they're at the right age.
You know, Wyatt, our lovely, well, I shouldn't say lovely, our handsome and
Wyatt, our producer,
which was, how do you deal with your kids being a sore loser?
Mm-hmm. And yeah, they are.
Well, my kids are losers generally.
No. I think kids, maybe it's all kids of this age. I don't know, but my kids are definitely sore losers.
Well, mine aren't in sports yet. Like they did soccer, but soccer, they were like 2 years old. It was like they could barely kick a ball. There's no point to it.
Yeah.
But I think you and I have both dealt with this, board games.
Yeah. I mean, that's where it really comes out before kids do sports is you play board games with them. And man, if they fucking lose, my kids at least, they throw a fit.
And then it's like, they're like, you let me win. Now, what's our job? To like let them win or teach them the cold cruelness of the world at an early age?
Yeah. Catherine and I have very different techniques with the kids.
If you lost, you're a loser. What am I going to do? You know?
she's ruthless. It doesn't matter what game we play. She's playing like 100% to win.
Wow.
And I am like the opposite, I think, where I'm like, just fucking let him win. Like, I don't give a shit. And I think we kind of need to meet in the middle a little bit, because I'm like, she's like, how are they going to learn? And I'm
How
like,
are they going to learn that life's a cold bitch like their mother?
I don't know. I am such a softie, I think, where I'm just like, oh, they feel bad. And then also, you're always playing games at like 6:30 at night, and you're going to do bedtime after this.
They're already melting down.
And you're fucking gonna school them and sorry. And like, fucking, right now we have a full meltdown before bath time.
It's also teaching, I mean, we should maybe say, for the purpose of the episode, the ages of our kids. My son Henry's 4, Maggie's 6, or no, Maggie's 7. Actually, I don't know if I
Do you
have
know
a
how old your
daughter.
daughter is?
I don't know her last name.
I think she's 6.
But she's at the age now where she can kind of get basic games. But trying to play a game with both of these morons,
yeah,
like Chutes and Ladders. I got Chutes and Ladders. I was like, this will be an easy one.
It's the worst.
Might as well be teaching trigonometry. She can kind of get it, but he's like cheating and moving all, and then crying, and then he doesn't understand the principles of it.
No, I'll tell you
It's
why
like
Chutes
I'm teaching him the Bible.
I'll tell you why Chutes and Ladders is the worst. It's because you can be doing really good in it, and then you will get to a certain point, and all of a sudden you get that chute or the slide, and you're fucking back to 0, and you were about to win the game. And these kids cannot handle that kind of
then you go,
loss.
That's what divorce is.
Yeah.
You don't see it coming.
Back to 0. It's just too hard. It's not like, oh, go back 2 spaces. It's like, oh yeah, go back to the fucking beginning of the game. You thought you were going to win. Now you're going to lose.
You know what? I did feel that playing that game. I didn't remember it being that rough.
Yeah, it is rough.
It is a little rough.
Yeah. Sorry is another one. At least there's more than one piece. So you can kind of like, yeah, maybe that guy has to go back to the beginning, but you got some other guys.
I don't think I ever played that game.
There are some games that are just pretty brutal. And so back to your point, my kids are 6 and 9. They get games at this point. I mean, but yeah, and also when you play with both of them,
your kids are probably playing Risk by now, aren't they?
we have Junior Risk. They love it.
What a bunch of nerds. Keep going.
But there can be only one winner. So when you're playing with both of them, it's like somebody's bound to be upset.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know we're talking about sports here, but as far as being like a sore loser, I think my kids are getting better. I wonder if getting them involved in team sports would be beneficial when it comes to this, because I think when you lose in a team sport, you kind of share in that as a group, as opposed to just on it as an individual, right? It's just like you have to process it all on your own. But if you're with your team and your friends, right, and you lose the soccer game, you lose the basketball game, it kind of spreads it out a little bit, right?
So you're just like passing it on to somebody else to teach your children to deal with their grief.
Yes.
You're farming it out.
Farming it out.
But sports is my worst nightmare because I'm going to have to go to it.
Yeah.
And I don't like sports, and I don't think you do either.
So
you told me you once said sports are for gays, is what you said.
I never said that.
Okay. You said the
This is
word.
something I think we
Sorry.
need to put a big asterisk on, because we both recognize that many people love sports, and many of even our friends love sports. Some of my really good friends
Your
love
best gay
sports.
friends do. No, actually, my lesbian friends are into it.
Sure.
I feel like it comes with the territory.
But you and I, this is something we share. We do not enjoy sports.
We are fruitcakes. We're artists.
Yeah.
We watch the Emmys and the Golden Globes and the Tonys instead.
Sure.
Well, you're into music. You're a musician.
Sure.
And I'm a writer.
Yeah.
But I don't care about sports. I don't care for anything about it. I think all the people involved are stupid.
Nope,
And
you
they
do
need
not.
to die.
Nope.
Oh, I mean, no, not that. But I don't know, even working at the bar when because I'll bartend, people come in and they sit down and they go, "Can you put on the Raiders?" And I go, "The who?
Yeah.
What is that?" But I just don't know. I'm like, is that a baseball? Or is that a soccer? I don't know how to work a TV.
Sure.
You got to talk to somebody at the front.
And they get up and go sit the other bartender.
Yeah.
They're like, this fucking guy.
This guy sucks.
No, I mean, it's tough. I mean, it's just, For me, it was a very conscious effort. I was raised in a family that was very into sports growing up, the whole family. And I was even into it growing up. You know, I was like, which football team did I like? The baseball team did I like? But at a certain point, I got into high school. Really got into music, and I was kind of like, I left it all behind. I was like, oh, I'm done with all that. Like, I am into music now.
One
like,
too many concussions.
It didn't do it for me anymore. I was like, oh, I found the things that I'm actually interested in, right? And so I've moved on. I moved on from it. And so,
was your dad into sports?
Yeah.
Was he like yell at the TV?
No,
Be like, come on, Cleveland.
I mean, maybe, I don't know. I mean, I think they had a pretty healthy relationship with it, but they're all into it. They've all got their teams, you know? But I was very much just like, oh yeah, I'm not, this isn't my thing anymore. Like, and now as an adult, I'm like, I just don't have time. I don't understand how people have time for it. Like, where do they get the time to follow these and fantasy teams and stuff?
Yeah, that's the layer is like, not only is there a real team, there's your fantasy teams, and then there's like sports gambling sites and stuff on top of it. So it's like layers of it. I also like being from Michigan, if I tell people it, and there's like a guy who's into sports, he'll be like, oh yeah, you a State fan or U of M? And I'll be like, I didn't know they were two different colleges. I didn't go to college. And they're so disappointed.
Sure.
And then I just have to be like, I'm into art. And then they throw something at me.
Sure. And they're like, well, we're not friends, I guess.
We're not friends.
Yeah.
It is funny that you used to do it and got left behind. The closest I really did, like I remember starter jackets.
Oh yeah.
Were a thing. And I had one, the one that like everybody wanted, I got. And it had like a bee on it.
The Charlotte Hornets.
That's what it was.
It was like a blue, right? Like a pale blue.
Yeah, and kind of like a pink, I think.
That was a very popular starter jacket.
Yeah, I don't know how I got it.
Back in the 90s. Yeah.
I might have stolen it. But I only did Little League, was the only sport I did because I was homeschooled. And there was like a little communal league. What do they call those? Intramural? I don't know. That sounds
You're
like
asking
a word.
me? Yeah.
And I was in 4th grade when my dad signed me up, and I think I did like a year or two, but one of the coaches was a child molester. And he didn't get me.
Okay.
But he got some of the other boys.
Yikes. Were you hurt
That I wasn't chosen?
Yes.
Well, you know, it feels good to be chosen. In that respect, not so much. But he coached a few other things, and I think he was dinking around all over in the intramural leagues, hockey and stuff.
Now, are these kids allegedly, or we're talking convicted?
Convicted.
Okay.
Convicted. I won't say his name because it's a very common name.
Okay. Yeah.
John Smith. It was like Bob something, but it was in the paper. I remember.
Sure.
It was like conviction and sentencing and everything. And I knew some of the kids, and they were all like no dad kind of situation, you know. It's pretty sad. And my dad was pretty great, so I wasn't molested by him.
So did this leave a real bad taste in your mouth about team
molesting?
sports?
No, about sports. I just was like not into it. But it was, I think it was like people took it so seriously. This is how I am in the restaurants too, and this is probably why I won't succeed in life, is I just don't take it that much seriously. Like when people are freaking out at work, I'm like, it's just food.
Yeah.
Like when we're all gonna die. You know, like you're not gonna make a difference.
Sure,
what's the point?
You're turning into a real nihilist. You've
I'm just
taken on this day shift.
It's not that. It's just like have a good time.
Okay.
Like that's what it is. You know, you got to play a game. That's great. Some people lose, and I remember that like. And I should also say, I was horrible at baseball. I was horrible at all sports. I mean, I remember like that movie, The Sandlot. Like, I remember a ball, they'd put me in left field. And the first day they go to left field. I go, where's that? And they go, left, you idiot. And they didn't think anything was going to happen out there. And a fly ball went up, and I went to catch, and it hit me right in the face. And gave me a black eye.
Yeah.
And there was this kid, Walter Christofferson, and I remember he, you know how when you're younger, you call everybody by their first and last name.
Yeah,
it's never like your friend Casey. It's like Justin Michelson, Casey Donovan, and he was the pitcher, and he was very good. Because I remember walking by the public school and seeing him and his dad playing catch, and he could throw like a major league baseball player. I was like, I'll never be this good. And we lost the game, and he was like crying in the dugout. Mm-hmm. And I went up to him and I tried to console him. I was like, hey, don't worry, Walter. We'll do better next time. And he goes, fuck you. And I was like, it was the first time anybody said the F word to me. And I was so hurt. I got on my bike and rode away. And then a couple nights later, my mom was driving me home from church. And I looked up to this Walter kid. He was like the nicest, coolest. He was like a cool kid, but everybody loved him. You know, he was like a real all-American.
Yeah, you were hurt when he did this.
Super hurt.
Yeah.
And then my mom was driving us home from church, and he was sitting on our porch waiting for us. And he apologized to me. He had tears in his eyes, and he was like, I'm sorry to talk to you that way. And that taught me a valuable lesson. I don't remember what it was, but
there's some sort of moral we should be extracting from this.
I don't know what. But I've always respected him for that.
I mean, it sounds like this kid was pretty high strung about sports.
Well, I think his parents, you know, I don't know. I didn't see his parents like yelling at him. Like, you have a neighbor who I one time was over here and hearing him yell at his kid about sports, and I was like, I'm never going to do that to my kid. Yeah. I'm only going to do it if it's musical theater.
Absolutely, yeah. Then you'll yell at him.
You don't know your lines?
I think it's like a couple parts to it. One, I think there are definitely valuable lessons that kids can learn from team sports. I did team sports I played soccer, I played football, but all when I was very young, not in high school or anything. And I think there are valuable lessons to be learned in team sports. However, since you and I are not really into sports, we don't want to go to a bunch of sports games. We don't want this like dominating our weeks and weekends.
Yeah.
And I have such little interest in following team sports and going to these practices and these games. I love my kids. I love doing things with them. This is not something that I think I will get enjoyment out of.
There's a couple I know, their kids do baseball. I can't even remember. They were like, do this league, not that league, if your kids do it. They said 6 nights a week they're doing it. Mm-hmm. I was like, I'm going to crash my car into a wall if I have to do that.
Yeah, it's like these club sports that I think are like maybe they're year round. I don't even know how to teach my kid
how to throw. I had my wife teach the kids how to ride a bike. They're teaching them how to throw. I'm like, great, take them to the games. I don't want to do it.
See, I love doing all that stuff. I think that's super fun.
Just doing the basic.
Yeah, so I think you and I like differ when it comes to this. I love doing active things with the kids, right? I love teaching them how to ride bikes. I like throwing the ball around. I like doing all these active things, right? All the active things we like doing. That to me is very different than signing them up for a sport where you have these practices multiple times a week. You have games. God forbid they're good at it.
God forbid you have a coach. You got to worry about molesting them.
Well, that goes without saying, I guess. But
no, it doesn't. Say it.
Okay. No, but I mean, if they're good at it, or if their team's good at it, and now you're like fucking doing championships, and I'm like, this is your life now.
No,
I'm
thanks.
like, nope. I got enough going on. I do not want to.
No, Maggie's doing gymnastics, and I'm like, I hope she's not that good.
Yeah.
Because there's some moms I know whose girls do gymnastics and their girls do dance. This is all they do. Dance, dance, dance. Dance moms, they're doing it every single day. Barf. No thanks. I don't want to do it.
But I think some of these things helps teach kids how to not be a sore loser. I don't think it's fair to say you're farming it out. I think this is the way many people learn how to deal with like loss and not to be a sore loser is by playing team sports as they're growing up. I think it's pretty common.
Well, there's that thing about anxiety. I mean, it's been written about in suicide rates and depression rates of like the way that society's been structured for young adults typically is oftentimes kids' very first job is out of college.
Okay.
So if they lose that job or if they're having a lot of difficulty even performing in that job, and my wife deals with that at the hospital sometimes. She gets incoming nurses who have never had a job before.
Yeah.
And their interpersonal skills are that of like an 11-year-old, where they don't know how to talk to people. They don't know how to talk to patients. They can't take feedback or critical feedback in any way without falling apart, which is why I oftentimes joke of like, but I'm kind of serious, like every kid needs a restaurant job because you learn how to deal with unruly customers, mean managers, hustling, getting tips, dealing with dropping a glass or cleaning up stuff, not taking things too seriously, taking out the trash. It humbles you, but also like you learn all these basics of like workplace interaction and reporting anything inappropriate or how to deal with that. And lots of these kids, they don't have any of those experiences until they graduate college. And if they have difficulty getting a job, it's their entire self-worth because they've never had to do anything hard before, sports included. So maybe there's something to it. I just would rather not have to go participate by supporting the kids.
I think that's a separate but related topic. I think that's a fun thing to actually dig in on, which is like first jobs and like how do we feel about like kids having jobs? Because we live in an area that's very diverse. There are some very wealthy families around us. There are some not so wealthy families. And some of these kids are going to work while they're in high school and some of them aren't. And I think there's definitely different lessons to be had from both approaches. So I don't know. I think that's kind of like a fun topic to dig in on.
And we're back. And I should say we're at what has now become the Moscow Mule segment of the show, where you hear a little clanging in the background of those copper cups.
Yeah, when we get back from a break,
we take a little fart walk.
Get some Moscow Mules.
John makes us up a Moscow Mule at his little tiki bar.
So the second half of the show is always a little more loose than the first half.
Yeah. Welcome to Wine Moms.
Yeah. This is what it's turning into.
Kathy Lee Gifford.
It's just an
here.
excuse for us to fucking get together and have a drink.
I was going to ask you, because we were talking about child molesting. No. We were talking about the kids and how sports makes people better. But you and I both grew up trash. I wondered if you had, I met you. I should say we met because you were originally my manager at a now defunct coffee shop in Santa Barbara, as I came with my rotten sack from Michigan to be a movie boy.
Yeah.
You were working at this coffee shop and I was 18 and you were 46. And just kidding. But you hired me, I think.
Sure. Yeah.
You hired me.
That
Big
sounds
mistake.
right.
Big
It wasn't like stiff competition back then.
That's true.
It was a coffee shop in Summerlin, which is near Santa Barbara here in California.
I think one of my coworkers was Nate Dogg, whose other job was spray painting bridges and telling cops, "Fuck you, pig."
Yeah. It was a real motley crew at that coffee shop.
It sure was. Oh my God. We should just do an
We could do a whole
there.
episode about that coffee shop.
Who is the guy? The Spanish guy. He was from Spain, right?
Kino.
Yeah, no, not Matias, who's a friend, but there was a Kino guy who was very weird.
Yeah.
Speaking of taking it seriously.
Okay, Brandon, we can't go down this rabbit hole of this job. Okay.
But I wanted to ask you if you had a childhood job, and if so, what were they? Take me through it. And then to connect to like, what kind of jobs do you think your kids will have besides sitting in a vat of saline while an AI machine sucks out their blood while they're in a matrix?
Sure, yeah. It's a real matrix-like future is what things feel like right now. But yes, I did work when I was in high school. You say childhood job, that makes me think of like small children working in mines.
Did you have a paper route?
I did not have a paper route.
I did.
Yeah.
I started young.
So my first job... they kind of blend together. It's hard to remember exactly, but I think my very first job was, it was like, 1 or 2 days a week where I grew up. There was a motorcycle track, like a dirt motorcycle track. And they would have these races and I worked.
You were a dirt sweeper.
I worked at the track on the corners. I was like one of the guys like waving the flags when the bikes would crash. And I had like a little headset. And like I would wave like a yellow flag when somebody crashed.
So you could have got crushed by bikes.
Sure.
That was your first job. They were like, throw them in the most dangerous job there is.
I was like 14
in Riverside.
It was out in the Antelope Valley. I don't even remember where it was. I think it was like Willow Springs. Anyway, But yeah, so I was a corner man with my yellow flag and my little radio.
You're a corner boy.
Yeah. I can't
Soon
believe
to be a corner man.
they threw me out there like 14 years
Did
old.
you have an audition? They're like, let's see you wave the flag.
No, I'm sure they were just like, you want to get a job? Like, sure, jump on the corner. When somebody crashes, wave the flag. And I was like, you got it.
How often did that happen?
Pretty regularly.
Wow.
It was like dirt bike racing, you know?
Did you have certain waves if like somebody was dead?
I think there was like a yellow flag and a red flag. It's been a number of years now. I can't really remember. I will say that was like,
They said once you're a flag man, you're always a flag man.
you're always your flag man for life. I've got yellow flags tattooed on my
Anytime there's an
my bicep.
emergency, you're like, where's my flags?
Yeah. I still have it framed above the fireplace, my
I
flag.
love that you're a minor.
Yeah.
And they have you doing this. Like, you just wait here in case a vehicle going 120 miles an hour slams next to you.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it seems super unsafe. I'm sure I was under the age of 16. I must have been 14 or 15. I think so that was like my first job, but I'm sure that was like under the table cash.
Oh, yeah.
But my first like job where I actually got like a paycheck was Round Table Pizza. And I was a delivery driver for Round Table Pizza, which was like a cool gig.
Did they have a 30 minutes or less kind of thing?
They did not have a 30 minutes or less thing, but I loved that job. That was cool, being like delivering pizza. Because I mean, one, like, what is a good first job for a kid? Like, you get to hang out with the other kids who you like, right? At that job, we were all like underage, but Round Table had beer. And so, I mean, and the inmates were really running the asylum back then.
So you're drinking and driving.
So I would not drink when I was driving, but
You would drink before you drove.
I was actually very cognizant of it. I would never drink and drive because I was like, and even the people there, like, we were all young, but we weren't fucking insane. Like, we knew if you were like the delivery driver, you weren't drinking, but you'd get back for the night and have to like, you know, it's like any restaurant. You have to close up shop every night, right?
Yeah.
Clean up and everything. So when that happened, everybody would just get out the 32-ounce plastic cups and start just going off the tap, filling up with beer. And so you're just drinking and cleaning up a restaurant all night. And we're like 16, 17, 18 years old and eating pizza, drinking beer, cleaning up the restaurant. No one was over the age of 20.
Wow.
You know, it was great.
What a fucking dream.
Yeah, it was an awesome job.
No cameras, free pizza, free beer.
Yeah. I had tip money in my pocket. I'd leave there with, $50 a night in tips. I was like living the life.
I thought you said tit money.
No.
I was like waiting for you to say titty bar. Remember people used to say that?
Yeah.
Like, oh, they're at a titty bar. And you're like,
you thought I was
what?
going to a titty bar when I was 17?
I don't know. You were just telling me you were drinking.
Yeah.
I thought we eat the pizza, we clean up, we take that tip money over to the titty bar.
You're ridiculous.
Throw everything on the table.
No. I was not going to titty bars, but that was a good gig.
I think I should
really
just say,
that gig.
I don't think we should say titty bar anymore.
No. You're against
I was
it.
commenting on the use of it, but then you kept going with titty bar. And you're like, titty bar. It'd be like me saying, like, like colored. And you're like, yeah, that's not good.
Yeah.
But my colored friends, whatever. I'm like, no, don't
say it.
Don't say titty bar.
If I know anything about you, if our audience knows anything about you, it's how politically correct you are and how careful you are to toe the line.
Really careful. And I especially didn't want you to say, like, you're going to some colored titty bar.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
No, I do not.
Because you're going to get yourself in trouble, John.
Those words have never left my mouth.
Well, I just want to say, I heard you say it.
You did not.
Look, I'll defend you.
Brandon, this is the
a point.
This is the
John.
Moscow Mule. This is the Moscow Mule talking.
I just had a sip.
I know.
Officer.
You're lightweight. Okay, so
but you had to drive home though, so you're all jazzed up.
So you had to be careful.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what you talking to your kids.
Yeah.
So listen. If you're gonna drink, you got to be careful.
You got to be careful.
You gotta make sure those cops are cool.
Brandon, it's like my dad
you're a
always.
little buzz.
It's like my dad always said: leave drinking and driving to the professionals.
And
all
if
right?
you go to a titty bar, you better make sure you got cash.
No, I mean, I'm sure people did, run into incidents doing this over the years. When I was there was never a problem. Everyone, even though we were totally fucking off and obviously not supposed to be drinking, everyone was still very cognizant of like, oh, we have to drive home. Like, we can't just get fucking annihilated here.
Right.
Like, it's almost the novelty of like, oh yeah, we can drink beer and no one's, you probably drink one beer, but it was just like
That's
the novelty
true. Back
of it.
then, you're like, yeah, because beer didn't even taste good.
No, but you're 17 and
When
like,
you're 17, it all tastes like piss. I remember that like every, the adults would be like, try this beer. And you're like, ugh, yuck. And they're like, you're going to like it someday, which I did. But
they were
but
right.
I'm like, don't say that.
Yeah.
But it's really like you're going to like it. It's just like you get used to something that tastes shitty.
Yeah.
But I guess you could say that about everything as an adult. Like for my palate, I'm like, oh, I love olives. I love cornichons. I love oysters. It's like all this stuff that my kids are like, that's disgusting.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I spent about $500 just on oysters in New York.
Your palate develops over time, to be fair.
Yeah.
But I do think there is something about that where it's like, what was it in the 80s and 90s where adults really got off on like giving kids a sip of beer or wine and they're like, they knew we were going to fucking hate it.
Yeah.
And they were just like, they're the schadenfreude on their faces.
I think it's a schadenfreude of like, I just said pickles, but like giving a baby a pickle.
Yeah, like what the fuck is wrong with these people?
It's like when we have a baby and your baby's just trying solids, and I'd be like, give her a pickle, because you can see their face be like,
you're one of these people. You're gonna give Maggie a beer when she's like 9.
Have.
Of
I already
course.
have. Delete that. Just kidding. It's fine. John said it.
Okay, so that was my first jobs. What were your first jobs? You had a paper
I
route.
had many. I'll take you through them montage style. I had a paper route before I could quote unquote legally have one. You had to be 12, but I had friends who had paper routes and they would give them to me, or they'd be like, I don't want to do it these days. You can do it.
I bequeath my paper route to you.
What a great word. But the weirdest thing about, I was talking about paper routes the other day because that's one of those jobs that's like, it's obviously pretty much way of the buffalo now, the way the newspaper business went. But you would have a child not only in charge of delivering the papers, but the most questionable part was that we had to collect the subscription money.
Yeah.
So we would be children going to knock on a door in the middle of the day, and there'd be some scary alcoholic 70-year-old being like, who the fuck is it? And you'd be like so afraid, and they'd come in their underwear and be like, what do you want? And you're like, I am with Muskegon Chronicle. It's $2 for the week or whatever. And they'd be like, you come back on Tuesday.
So
And
this
it would
is
just scare the shit out of you. But you had to deal, or dogs barking at the and they'd have the main door open with the screen door all had a bunch of holes in it, and there's a Rottweiler's like an inch from your face.
I mean, you grew up in a real interesting place, Brandon.
I wouldn't say interesting. It was just trash.
Yeah, I've seen movies about this.
It was like The Sandlot once again.
No, it doesn't sound. It sounds like real economically downtrodden.
I mean, I went back for the summer. Granted, my mom's in a better I almost said a better place. It sounds like she's dead. My dad is, but she's in more of like an exurb part of Muskegon. But like going back to our old neighborhood, driving around, because I was there for a week this summer, and I was like, God damn, this is a real dump. Like the particular neighborhood I was in, growing up and going around those blocks, and I was like, I mean, everything looks smaller when you're an adult. You're like, Jesus, that house is so tiny. I remember it being so big, but like, despite its quaintness, I was like, it looks like something out of the Great Depression, like today, like these houses, these ramshackle shotgun homes with dirt in the driveway, dead lawns, disrepaired vehicles, liquor bottles, people sleeping on their porch, white, black, brown, all over, just like Rust Belt poverty, like abuse. Like I just grew up seeing like kids getting hit by their parents and slapped, and I got slapped by other kids' parents, and it's like, I don't want to go dark. A lot of it's funny, but a lot of it's like, ooh.
It's rough. Well, let's save some of that because it gets a little rough. But the paper route seems so funny to me because I never had a paper route. I never even knew anybody who had a paper route.
Yeah.
So I think it might be a regional thing. I don't know if that's something that happens so much where I grew up.
All the kids were like kind of latchkey. Yeah, they were like the other kids were all like, because I was homeschooled, but the other kids who did it seemed like maybe they didn't even go to school. Like they were like one step up. I don't know if you now I don't want to get too stuck on this because there's a bunch of other jobs I had that I could touch on if we want, but the kids, like, when there'd be the ice cream man would come by and you'd hear him and they'd have the song and we would always have like a trashy ice cream truck with a craggly, creepy guy smoking who's driving it. But then in the back would be like a kid who was abandoned at a carnival who would hand you the ice cream. He'd be like the assistant. And he might be 9 years old and he'd be smoking too, And it was always like the assistant to the ice cream man who, like, for all we know, he was abusing, whacking, hitting him with a whip at night and stuff, like kind of at the end of Pinocchio. You didn't have those?
You know what? This didn't come up when we talked about our neighborhoods that we grew up in, but a couple houses down from me, there was the ice cream man lived on our street.
Dude, you lived on Murder Row.
And
your
it was
street your street was like House of 1,000 Corpses.
So the paper route, I think it's really interesting. What were your other jobs?
Speaking of ice cream, I worked at an ice cream shop.
Oh, okay.
Where everybody smoked. It was called the North Pole. And the owners all smoked. It was one of those little shit shacks. It was right across the street from the paper mill, where everybody in that neighborhood got cancer, by the way. And it all just wafted onto the ice cream. But on top of that, we're in there. Cigarettes. I'm a teenager. I'm probably 15. Cigarette dangling from my mouth.
This is when
scooping ice cream.
Started your career as a smoker.
I mean, I was starting to smoke when I was 12. The owner's in the back smoking. I'm smoking. Then that was in under the table. I was a janitor, also under the table. I cleaned a couple buildings doing that. I mowed lawns for the church under the table. My first legitimate job was as a dishwasher at Mike's Scrub, a German buffet. And I quit that job because the owner was racist. And I was dating a black girl.
But you're racist.
He was not fun, though. No, I was dating a black girl.
So it wasn't that he was racist. It's just that he wasn't fun.
I'm telling you, John,
There's
don't ask
lot
me questions.
Oh, Jesus.
Don't ask me questions unless you're ready
You can't handle the
for a
truth.
dark story.
I asked about what jobs you had, and you went down this rabbit hole.
I don't know how to not... But then I worked at regular restaurants as a teenager. It was like...
You had a lot of jobs as a teenager.
My parents had me working at 15. As soon as I turned 15, they took me to the Board of Education. I got the thing.
Sure.
It was like we lived in a tenement, They're like, well, you got to work in the mines. You got to bring the money home. It's the fishmongering or this.
Yeah, it's like we're all supporting the family, right?
Yeah,
Would you contribute to the family with your earnings?
No.
It was just your money?
It was mine.
Okay.
But I'm sure my family could have used it. We were dirt poor and on welfare. But it was my farting around money.
But maybe it was, by you doing that, then they didn't have to give you money to do things right.
Yeah, that's probably the case. But, yeah, I think so. But I do think, in summary, I would have my kids do jobs. I wouldn't have them be working at those kinds of places.
So
with those kinds of creeps.
Let's pivot here. So I had, various jobs. There's probably one or two that I'm forgetting about. I gave you the hits, but it does make me think, like, will our kids have jobs while they're in high school?
Yes, I think so. I mean, I definitely think so. It depends on how busy they are. If they're like busy doing baseball, God forbid, and they don't have time. But if they have time, and I should also say, there's a gal at my work, and her first job she was like a senior in high school. And I always am kind of shit on that generation of younger kids. Like, they don't know how to work this and that. This girl's the hardest worker I've ever seen in any job. And I could not believe she's an only child and it's her first job. I assumed she's such a hard worker. I'm like, you probably have like 6 brothers. You've been working since you're 14. She's like, I'm an only child. This is my first job. She just has really good work ethic. But I think Henry will definitely need a job. I can't leave that kid to his own devices. He's a moron. He's got to do something.
Yeah.
My favorite job, and I long for this job to this day, John, was landscaping.
Really?
Well, maybe I should say lawn maintenance. When I was in graduating high school, I did, for a summer, I did like mowing lawns, weed whacking, tree trimming, all that stuff, driving around in a truck with like other guys my age, going to Burger King for lunch. We'd do like nursing homes, and you'd be like weed whacking, and somebody would be coming up to the door shaking it because they'd have chains on it, and they'd be like, "Let me out."
Sure.
But it was just like nice, like sunshine, hard work, day labor.
Seems
you
very
get a check.
like Norman Rockwell, all-American, like you mow lawns. Through
when I take the dog,
way through high school and college.
I take the dog to the dog park, and I see these guys mowing the lawns out here at like El Dorado Park, and I'm like, God, if I could do that.
Yeah.
It was the best.
Just put on your podcast.
Yeah. Accidentally chop your foot off in the mower.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's hard to know, but I do think if the kids have bandwidth in their schedules when they're in high school, I think having a job through high school is very valuable. I think it does teach you a lot of lessons. I think it's similar to team sports in a way, which is, I think, kind of why we're talking about it in the same vein here, which is like, there's a lot of lessons you can learn from this, right? This is how you grow up, right?
Yeah.
Is there's these things you do that are super important and teach you a bunch of lessons that your parents can't teach you. You can only teach your kids so many things, and they have to learn a lot of things on their own with their peers.
Well, and I'll give you, for instance, like when I did that landscaping thing. Well, also like when that racist boss fired me, or I quit, like my parents were like, no, we're going to go back and talk to him. And so my parents went back with me into the place and were like, he's putting in an immediate quitting. Like, this was offensive, and like, you shouldn't talk to a child like this.
Yeah.
And like, the guy was like, well, I just with him was like, and I got to watch my parents, like, they didn't threaten this guy, but they were like, they did it to show me of like how to stand up for yourself, but they were standing up for me and like not denigrating, but just showing this guy like that was super inappropriate.
Yeah.
And like, you know, this could be cause for like whatever. And the guy was like, no. But they were just like, the Bubba, and we're all done. And then when I did that landscaping job, the owner was like the son of like one of the pastors at our church. And if one of the kids screwed something up, like chopped off a tree branch or broke one of the weed whackers or this or that, he would dock us. He'd go, well, and it'd come at the end of the week, and he was like in his basement. He had
so
kind of like how
shitty.
you have guitars. He had all these swords, like the Braveheart sword, the Highlander sword. It was like very, you know, I'm a man, but he'd be like, well, your check is here, but John, I'm going to have to dock you. And he'd do that. And I brought
Seems
up to
illegal.
my parents, and they were like, no. If he does that to you, you tell him it's illegal.
Yeah.
And this and that. And it was like a lesson. And then when he tried to do it, I was like, you can't do that. That's illegal. And that's a violation of this and that. He was like, well, and I was like, and you did that to him and this, and like, you've been taking this. He was like, okay, guys. All right. Let's just hear
Everyone calm down.
Calm down here. We don't need to take this to whatever. But it was like,
Because as a matter of fact, we're going to start a union.
yeah, we're union. He takes his sword off, chops everybody's head.
Yeah.
No, but it was like those experiences. If I didn't have those, then I couldn't like stand up to you, and you were my manager at the coffee shop and were assaulting me. No, but
There was nothing to stand up for at their place.
it's true. That was like the low level equivalent of your round table pizza.
It totally was. It's
like,
everything I learned at Round Table Pizza.
all the quiche we can eat.
I brought to that coffee shop.
Ooh, I'm going to have another free Americano.
Yeah.
Hope I don't get crazy.
No, but I think those are great lessons, right? Like, we're joking around about it a lot, right? But I mean, I think those are probably like very formative lessons that you had, right? With your parents and teaching you these things. And I don't know. I think there's a lot of value in that. I mean, I am it's much more attractive to me to have the kids have jobs than to be like super into sports. And I think that's probably just my own hang-ups or things that I'm interested in, right? Where I'm just like, fucking...
Well, you don't have to follow them, or you don't have to go to all their jobs with them like you have to do at the games.
I just feel like, you're earning money, you're learning these skills, but I mean, I'm sure you are learning skills at the job. I mean, at the in the sports as well. But I feel like it's a different skill set. So I definitely will be supportive if the kids want to work through high school. I don't know if I'm going to, what if your kids don't want to work? What if they're like, fuck this, we don't want to work? No.
If they have time to work and they're like, I don't want to work, then we're going to be like, okay. No, I'm gonna be
that's
like,
it.
I would be like,
okay.
I'm gonna be like, in this fucking house, you get a fucking job. I don't know. I mean, they're gonna have to. I don't think it's a question of that. I can't imagine my kids being like, I don't want to work. Like, all they want to do right now is work. They're like,
you can't imagine that. I think most teenagers nowadays are like, I don't want to fucking get a job. No,
I don't know. I don't know teenagers. Do you?
No, I'm just imagining
Yeah.
it.
They're sitting there smoking, hitting their vape pen,
Fucking teenagers.
listening to Bad Bunny.
Yeah, I literally don't know one teenager, I don't think. And I'm like, you know how teenagers are.
The only teenagers I know are like the ones who babysit, and
Sure.
they're all like busy, and they all have jobs, and they're busy as fuck. Mm-hmm. And then like the ones at my work who are all like teenagers who are waiting tables or
You're saying
busing.
teenagers, but I mean, you're talking 19, 18. You're not talking
17 to 19, I guess.
Okay, you're talking 17-year-olds work at your work
Yeah,
as servers, and
I think. Not as servers, because you got to.
Yeah, I think you have to at least be 18 for a lot of
bussers.
these jobs.
I don't know.
So you say because I mean, like our babysitter goes to college, right?
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
like a college student here, so it's like to me, she looks like a fucking teenager. She's probably 20.
Everybody looks like a teenager to me.
Yeah, I know they all look like children.
Anybody between 10 and 30. I'm like, how old are you?
Actual teenagers look like they're in fucking elementary school to me.
No, I'm sure
And
there's a
then
bunch of
college students
teenagers who are
look like
fucking
teenagers.
losers. Like you see them at the mall,
Riding their e-bikes.
skateboarding.
Yeah.
They got their rollerblades
Causing
on.
trouble.
Listen to their X Games on their CD Walkman.
Listening to X Games on their CD Walkman.
the X Games soundtrack, that first Wu-Tang Clan track.
I mean, I honestly don't know. This is, to
I don't
be
know
fair.
what people are doing.
Yeah.
I only know my neighborhood. I'm sure if we go somewhere else, we're like fucking Tempe, Arizona, a bunch of loser kids.
I think
I don't know what my kids
you
are
need to
doing.
prepare
My
yourself.
son's 4. He's like, I want to drive a garbage truck.
Yeah. That's going to change. You need to prepare yourself that your kids may not want to have jobs as teenagers and how you're going to handle that.
Well, I think I'm going to be one of those parents that's like, you got to have a job if you want to live here. If not, you're going to be, you're going to have to get molested by riding in the back of that ice cream truck.
Okay, that's going to be
That's
your
going to be
ultimatum.
your option. That's it.
Because teenagers are notorious boundary pushers, right?
Well,
so they'll be like,
I'm going to say, you want to fight? Go on.
You wanna fight?
Hit your old man.
physical.
You
All
want
right,
to?
abuse.
That's how I'm going to parent.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
I think I might take a different approach.
I mean, I'm assuming between now and then, my wife and I will instill the value of hard work and money.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the kids are already like kind of learning how crypto works.
No, I think that is the thing, right? Like, can you instill this as values when they're younger so you don't have to force it when they're teenagers? My parents never forced me to have a job. I wanted to earn money.
You were like, I want to get out of this house of alcoholics.
Yeah, I was like, get me the fuck out of here.
And your dad, I feel like you're in a fucking Brian De Palma movie. Like, you want to go? The only place to go is to be a flag man. You think you can do that? You think you can live being a flag man, John? That's how your uncle died.
Yeah. his flag is hanging over by the mantelpiece with
It's a half mast.
with blood on it.
Yeah. Your grandma's like, the only good flag man's a dead flag man.
I think, yeah, I mean, it was very attractive to me, the money of it. And also it just seemed like fun. I was like, yeah, that will be like a fun thing to do. Right. And it was. I really I look back fondly at that.
I mean, I think like it creates, I'm having a stroke. It creates autonomy. I think teenagers crave it. They don't want to be around their parents. I think we are definitely probably in the same boat where technology is going in social media. If like, we don't want our kids in the bedroom with the door shut playing Roblox or talking about potentially committing suicide with ChatGPT. We want them to be out in the world, touching grass, as the kids say. And I think they want to be away from their parents. And that's why I loved having a job, because it created especially when I was an actual teenager, of like going to work at a restaurant and like having cute girls that I worked with, and a night, going out to do something fun after work, and being 15, 16, having a car, having my own money. Like, it created autonomy under my parents' roof that I think I can see my kids craving that. Maggie craves that already, of like, I want to go have a sleepover. I want to go spend my money and buy this. Can I go to do this by myself? And I'm like, no, you're fucking 7. But I think the kids, I don't even remember her name, frankly. But however old she is, whatever her name is, my daughter, I could see her doing that if there is a planet Earth,
Yes. I think the key word you said was, and once you said it, I was like, oh yeah, that's exactly what
titty
it is.
bar.
Yeah. Titty
That
bar.
word.
No, which is autonomy. I mean, I craved autonomy so much when I was a teenager, right? I mean, and a job was a way to achieve that. I got my learner's permit when I was on the day I turned 15 and a half.
I haven't heard the learner's permit in so long.
Yeah, it really dates us, I bet.
Yeah.
I got my driver's license on my 16th birthday. I sold my dirt bike that I had when I was a kid to buy my first car before I even turned 16, like a shitty old Camaro, right?
Yeah.
So it was like I craved autonomy so much. And a job was like a ticket to do that. It was like ammunition for autonomy, right? And it was like, it gives you a lot of, you're trying to figure out your identity, and you do that through various ways. And for me, one of it was working and being around peers and being away from I didn't hate my family by any means, but I wanted to be around my peers. I wanted to be around people like me. I wanted to have my independence, right? Yeah. And a job was like a way to do that. And I really craved that quite a bit.
I loved it. I mean, I hate it now.
Now you're just like, I just want to take a nap.
You got to keep doing
this fucking
and then
job.
I die. When can it happen sooner? But yeah, the excitement of it. I mean, it's just like as good as it gets when you're a teenager. Yeah. I think it's as good as it gets having a job when you're a teenager, because you don't really need the money. You're not going to be destitute. Mm-hmm. So it is this built-in experiential testing ground of like, you're balancing a budget, but you're like going to, you can save up or splurge or whatever, but you have your car to go drive and do these things, but you have this exterior world of coworkers and adults and stuff like that you're interfacing with that gives you this other life. But then you come back and put your head on the pillow at home, and that's what like being a teenager is. And you want that for your kids so that they're not rotting away just in their room, sure, like an unemployed person, because there's really just like this 4 years before they're off into the world, whether it's college.
It's such a short window,
my
right?
son will likely be in what they call a vocational school.
Good for him.
It'd probably be very valuable at the time, because everything's going to be pretty much automated. So he'll be like a plumber.
Yeah. And he'll make more than all of us.
Yeah, because they're just going to be extracting our plasma for the great machine.
Brandon, imagine if now all of your bills were paid, right?
By my plasma.
No, not by your plasma, but your mortgage, right? Your food, your car, everything was already, all that was taken care of. And you worked a job where all that money you got to do whatever the fuck you wanted with it.
Yeah, it's called being a stay-at-home dad. That's why I want to reverse the vasectomy. My wife will pay for everything. Oh, you weren't talking about that?
I was talking about being a teenager.
Oh, yeah.
That's why we think upon it so fondly. All of that money was just like gravy. It was all just icing on the cake. It was like, whatever I want to do with this. I'm like, I'm going to buy a fucking guitar. Like, I'm going to go buy tickets to this concert. Like, was the
tickets
best.
for $25.
Yeah.
Wow,
all
you're really
money.
making me just whimsical about being a teenager again.
It's the fucking best. Teenagers, you're not listening to this show, but if you happen to be hearing it coming out of your dad's AirPod, right? Get a job. It's worth it. It's fucking great.
It's a blast. You're going to take all that money. You're going to go see NSYNC at the Van Alden Arena in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Tickets are $15.
I would just like
Carson Daly's on TV.
Remind
9/11 hasn't happened yet.
Brandon and I do not know a single teenager.
We Never mind. We have not touched any of these teenagers.
Anything else you want to say about Jobs?
I hope they're still here in the future.
Same.
Get your hands off me.
Okay.
We're back
with recommendations.
We're freebasing cocaine now.
We're back from a break. We one up it each time. We have recommendations this week. Brandon, do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
I'll go first, which is on the plane back from New York. I watched a movie that I thought I'd seen, but I think I only saw little pieces when I was a kid or a teenager. And it terrified the shit out of me. And it was so brutal and gross and scary and violent. And then I watched it now all the way through. And it's a movie called Casino by Martin Scorsese. And I finished it on the plane. And I was like, this might be one of the best movies ever made.
Oh, you don't say Casino?
And it's so fucking funny. And I think that's the thing when you're a kid, like anything crime related, it's just horrifying. And then when you're an adult, like even on a rewatch, another Scorsese movie would be The Departed. First time I saw it, I was an adult and I was like, oh man, this is like really intense and brutal. And I watch it again and I'm like, oh, it's kind of a comedy. Like the scenes in Casino with Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci, they're like Abbott and Costello, except they're saying like motherfucker all the time. And they're talking about killing people and they do, kill people, or Pesci does. But it was a movie that came out in 1995, which was like a tough year for movies, for it to get a lot of notice because it was like the same year that like Braveheart and Toy Story and all these movies came out.
The mid and late 90s were a windfall for great movies.
They just really were. And I don't think we're being nostalgic because just the way things are now, they just not that many great movies come out.
I think it's fair to say there's like golden eras in art form and different in music and in movies. And that was an excellent time for movies. And I think that's pretty objective. Like it was pretty great during the mid to late 90s.
And I think people wanted it because Goodfellas had come out a couple of years before. They wanted it, and it was a lot of the same cast. They wanted it to be like that. And it wasn't. It was a totally different, weird movie. It's tons of voiceover. There's a plot, but it's narrated most of the time. It's an epic. One of my favorite movies is Boogie Nights, and I can't believe how much Boogie Nights is kind of the same movie where Casino is about like this old world of Las Vegas that the mob came in and kind of started running things. And then that went away after all this shit went down. And now it's like this corporate Disneyland kind of thing. And that's kind of how Boogie Nights was, where it was like the renegade time of the porn industry. And then video comes in and they don't want acting anymore. They just want like this whole other thing and all these people's lives. You see the ups. The first half is like the rise and the glitz and the glamour. And the second half is like, basically, I think Kurt Vonnegut said it best, where he was like, the best part of the, like, you think a story, you're done with a story, and then the line you need to write is, and then the cops busted in, But it was, Jenna was watching, Dancing with the Stars and these things that she deserves to watch. And I was next to her, just like watching a guy's head get squished in a vice. And all these brutal acts of violence and incredible cinematography. And Thelma Schoonmaker is his editor, who just like, it's like a dream. I don't know. I'm watching it on a tiny screen on a plane, but it ended and Robert De Niro goes, and that was that. And the credits start rolling. And it's been so long. We're just like, John, I'm using the voice. My jaw was on the floor.
It really affected you.
I was just like, I don't know what to do. This is the greatest movie I've ever seen.
It is fantastic. I agree. It's very funny that you're recommending Casino. This reminds me of like maybe one of my recommendations where I'm like, Stranger Things, check it out, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, people are like,
Not sure if you've heard of this Robert De Niro and Martin Scorsese friendship.
I am totally fine with recommending stuff like this, by the way. I think it's great because I think it reminds people to maybe if they haven't seen it a long time, or for some people who have never seen it, right? I think it's great. It's so good. It's so fucking funny. I think it influenced a ton of comedians. A lot of comedians listed as like very influential to them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
How so?
Just because it is a comedy. It really is a comedy.
Well, and Don Rickles is in it.
Yeah.
But he's not funny. He's just like slack-jawed the whole time.
Totally.
But there's all kinds of crazy casting in it.
It's
it's real, too. Like, I mean, it's based on a true story. Nick Pileggi wrote it. It's based on a true story, but I mean, it's real in that, like, there's no CGI or there's minimal. I mean, there are special effects certainly in it and creature effects because of the dead bodies and the body count, but like, and they do like matting, painting for like some of the scenes, but like, it's not some AI computer generated stuff. Like the cars are real. The scenery is real. The casino, they filmed in a real casino. They filmed it from like 12 a.m. to 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. every night. It's just,
and
it's
also like
textural.
The progression of Vegas is also real. Like, yes, it is a fictional story set in this, but the historical background around it is real. Like, this is what happened, right?
Yeah.
They're telling, you know, obviously fiction through this lens, but it's like, oh yeah, this is what happened.
Yeah.
And I never actually thought about the parallel with Boogie Nights, but I really like that, where they do a great job in both of those movies to bringing you in to this universe in its like heyday, right? And you as the audience kind of love that universe, even though there's all these problems with it and it's horrible. It's like, it's fucking organized crime. People are dying. It's obviously awful. Boogie Nights, it's the porn industry. There's a million problems with it.
It's lots of sadness, suicides, drug addiction.
The directors and the writers and everybody on those movies do such a great job into kind of romanticizing it and bringing you as the audience into that world where you love it also, but then it shows you the downfall of that industry
and the human cost of it.
And
it's documentary too. It's like a docudrama. It's part soap opera, but
you are saddened as the audience as this like industry it like goes through its downfall and it misses its golden age, right? And you're just like, man, like I miss the heyday of organized crime in Vegas by the time you get to the end of that movie, right? It's so good. I agree with you. It's a fantastic movie.
And it's like you're seeing a director. I don't know. Like, I hate to sound like a cinephile, but like when you see the power of like an incredible director with these actors who are at the top of their game. I mean, Sharon Stone, holy shit. Dude. Like she's been through so much as a human being and she's one of the smartest people alive. But like to see her just acting her ass off in this part of like this drug addicted former prostitute who's like in this weird arranged marriage with this guy and she's spiraling and it's such a dynamic part, but you're watching all these forces come together to make this work of art that's not perfect but so close to perfect. I don't know.
Joe Pesci is so goddamn funny in that movie.
He's so funny. He's so sincere and he's flying off the handle, like the dynamic of their relationship in it, where it's like he's just like, I'm going to come out to Vegas and show them what for. And his friend it's laughable that Robert De Niro's Jewish in the movie. He's like Ace Rothstein and Pesci's always like saying anti-Semitic shit like, listen to me, you Jew motherfucker. I'm going to do what I want to do out of you. He's like, hey, take it easy, calm down. He's like, you tell me fucking. And
he'll never be like Robert De Niro, if I remember right, like he'll never be like one of them because he's Jewish, right? Or he's like half Jewish or something, right?
He's Jewish and he's like kind of a sports betting guy that they're like, you're going to run the casino that we put through legitimate sources to get the licensing and all this, but it's all fronted by like Kansas City mob money that they skim off the top. But it's so the way the camera floats and like the voiceover.
You just have to suspend disbelief for the Jewish part of Robert De Niro.
That's really the biggest part of it. That is that. But it's been a long time since I've had a real pleasurable movie experience. No kids, not stopping it halfway through or 5 times. I loved it.
That's great, man. What a great recommendation. I agree. I think it's fantastic. Go watch Casino. My recommendation is not nearly as much fun as yours.
Oh, no.
Yeah. It's a podcast. It's a limited series podcast. So I think it's only going to be 8 episodes. I'm only a few episodes in right now. Depending on when you listen to this,
It's called
show.
The Making of Casino.
Depending on when you listen to this show, obviously, will be dependent on how many episodes are currently released right now. But it is called The Last Invention. And I think this plays into kind of some of the stuff we were talking about earlier in this episode, which is this is a podcast specifically focused on AI and how we got to where we are right now with artificial intelligence and these large language models. This is something that I think about a lot in a very serious way about how it's going to affect our children, how it's going to affect us and our lives. And I really do agree with a lot of people that it is a huge existential risk to our society, to our livelihoods, and to the world that our kids are going to inherit. Now, I listen to a lot of different podcasts and read a lot about different parts of AI, but usually it's just, for example, I really like the Sam Harris podcast, right? He'll talk about AI sometimes. It's not the focus of his podcast. Sometimes he talks about meditation. Sometimes he talks about politics. Sometimes he talks about AI. This podcast is specifically focused on how we got to where we are now with artificial intelligence and what is going to happen next.
Oh, God.
And the needle we need to thread as a society so we don't completely lose it and artificial intelligence completely takes over and society basically collapses, right? And there's a lot in there. It's not super fun. However, I do think they do an excellent job on this podcast to not making it a total downer. And they interview people on all sides of artificial intelligence, some people who are real doomers of AI and some people who are really progressive with AI. I think they do a great job of trying to balance it out to show all sides of it. But I think they give a very real picture of how we got here and where it's going next and what we need to do if we want to actually survive through these next iterations of artificial intelligence. So it is called, once again, it's called The Last Invention. You can find it wherever you get any podcast. I think it's absolutely fantastic. If you are concerned with AI, like I am, what kind of world our children are going to inherit, what kind of jobs we're going to have in the future, how we're going to survive this, I highly recommend listening to this.
How long are the episodes?
Let me take a look real quick. I want to say about an hour, 45 minutes. So yeah,
An hour and 45?
No. The first episode's 35 minutes. The second episode's 53 minutes. They vary. Under an hour, more than half an hour, under an hour.
I should say I will listen to it. I am not in technology like you are, but I am constantly, every day, if not hundreds of times a day, in a perpetual state of existential terror about AI. I use it certainly, as a lot of people do, but I'm only really using, that I know of actively, a learned language model, or what is it?
Large language model.
Large language model, for drafting different things. But I'm sure I'm using it thousands of times a day without knowing it for banking and these things. But just the future of it. And I do also listen to Sam Harris and particularly try to seek out smart things about the future of AI because it scares the shit out of me. It totally does. I know I've joking about it even in this episode, but like where we're going to go, what's going to happen. I don't want to get too political of like the president, but like it seems like there's no guardrails right now. These people can kind of do whatever they want and we're paying for it. We're literally giving them government money to do whatever they want. And even our electric bills are up because we're paying for them to build these fucking data centers to do it. And 20 years ago, I read Ray Kurzweil and him talking about
the singularity,
the singularity and the age of the spiritual machines. And it seemed so far out that it was like, oh, this is 1,000 years from now. I'm never going to have to worry about this. Whether, and he painted more of a utopian picture of it, but I don't know. I'm terrified. I'm terrified for my kids. I'm terrified for their lifetime. I'm terrified for the next 5 years. And I wish I wasn't. I wish I could just put my head down. Even doing this show with you, I like dread where I'm just like, what's the point of this? We're all going to be taken over, you know?
I think unfortunately, I don't think those are unfounded fears. I think they are very real fears. And it's scary. And for me, I think I can either choose to just be scared about it and not do any research, but listening to podcasts like this and listening to people talk about it, I think for me help give me some consolation. And I think it's good for society as a whole to get the word out there about, like, we need to educate ourselves on this. We cannot afford to put our heads in the sand about this stuff, because the people that are pushing this right now are billionaires, and they're the richest people in the world. They're the richest companies in the world. And their goal is to move as fast as possible with as little guardrails as possible, right? And that is not a recipe for society doing well. That is a recipe where, I mean, that's why this podcast is called The Last Invention.
Great title, by the way.
Right?
What a good title.
Because there's some people on here, and I'm not going to, go out there. I'm not going to try to paraphrase this and ruin their analogies and ruin, the different points they make in this podcast, because I won't do as good as a job as them. But one of their main points is that, like, if we do this wrong, we all die, right? That's the
Can you just say,
that's horrible.
How do we all die? What's the theory? I know you don't want to get in, but
sure.
What is the long and short of, like, how do we all die with AI?
Sure. I think there's a lot of different, that's like the biggest can of worms, because that'll be some of the
Is it like they
objections
invent
to
a robot?
Because then they're like, well, what do you mean? It's just this thing that lives in a box. How does it hurt us? And the point is that once you create a super intelligence, like an artificial general intelligence, and even that's very loaded, that term, like AGI and super intelligence.
Well, I call my wife the super intelligence.
Well, that's just a good move as a husband. But once we create a version of artificial intelligence that then can create a better version of itself, and then that creates a better version of itself, and it becomes recursive. Each one just keeps creating better and better versions of itself, and it does it almost instantaneously because it's so fast. There immediately becomes, let me rephrase that. There's an immediately on this planet, there is something that is smarter and more powerful than us, right? And currently, we are the smartest and most powerful thing on this planet. And the analogy that they make, and I know I said I wasn't going to tell any analogies, but I think this is the best one that I can give, which is they compares us to ants, right? The way humans treat ants. We don't hate ants, right? We don't really have many feelings on ants for the most part. Most people don't, right? However, when we build homes, when we build our societies, we don't think about how it hurts the ants. And that's what artificial intelligence, the argument is, that's what artificial intelligence will do to us. It doesn't hate us. It doesn't care about us. It will do whatever it needs to do to expand and progress and make itself better. And that may come at the complete demise of human beings, right? We will be ants to it. And maybe it'll be fine with leaving us alone. Maybe it won't. Just like when we build a new housing development, maybe we kill a bunch of ants. Maybe we don't. It's just kind of random. We don't really give a shit about them. And that's what's going to happen once we have these super intelligences that don't need humans anymore.
But how will it kill us?
Sure. Well, that's a great question. How will it do that, right? Hard to know. Maybe it builds things that builds solar panels that cover the entire Earth and blots out the sun, right? Because that's how it needs power, right?
Wow.
And all of a sudden, all our crops die. AGI doesn't need crops, right? Who knows? Come up with whatever doomsday scenario you can think of, the most horrible shit you can imagine, right? Let's watch any sci-fi movie or read some crazy book about, a dystopian future, right? There's a million ways, right? But that's the scary shit. The good part is, the optimistic part of me is that there is a path where we can thread this needle and we don't have to all die. And we just need to put more guardrails around what we're doing. Because if we don't, we are in a huge amount of trouble. So obviously, if I've talked this long about this, if you're interested in this, you know. If you're not, you also know. I highly recommend this podcast. I think it's great. Sam Harris is a separate podcast. I think I'll actually recommend Sam Harris another time because I have plenty to say about him. I think he's great, by the way, but I'll save that for another time. But for this, I highly recommend this podcast, The Last Invention.
Should we end on a real downer of a note, Sean?
I think we're going to need to flip our recommendations. Let's end on Casino. I feel like we covered a lot. I'm glad you finally saw Casino.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal movie. Make your kids work, and make sure that their bosses and coaches are not creeps. Listen, They're Fine is produced and edited by Wyatt Gray. Original music by John Ahern. John's Instagram is at John Ahern Music. And you can find my inappropriate parenting on Instagram at Bubba Ogborn. You can also find our recommendations linked in the show notes. If you have feedback or topic suggestions, our show email is listenthey'refine@gmail.com. And our TikTok and Instagram handles are at listenthey'refine. If you made it this far without calling Child Protective Services on us, please leave us a 5-star review. It helps other questionable parents find us. Share the chaos, tell a friend, tell your therapist, tell anyone who needs to feel better about their own parenting choices. Hit subscribe so you never miss an episode.